सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। We'll chant couple of mantras. Mantra 4 and 5. अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयः अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयः नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। Once again, whole line. अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। नेक्स्ट मंत्र। तदेजति तन्नैजति तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्धूरे तद्वन्तिके तद्धूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्धूरे त्वद्वन्तिके तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्धूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः। Yesterday we saw the first line of this mantra tadejati, tannaijati. And then taddure, tadu antike. It is far as well as closure. Antike. And tadasya sarvasya antara tadu asya sarvasya bahyatah. Sarvasya, for everything, for all, it is antara, it is inside, inner. And at the same time, tadu sarvasya bahyatah. And at the same time, it is, that is inside all, inside everyone, and at the same time, it is outside everyone. Okay? Now, let us see this antike. It is innermost. We often hear this word, the innermost self. Especially when you talk of Panchakoshas, we hear the inner self. The word inner and external is always with a reference point, with a dividing line. Keeping in mind that dividing line, you can say this is inner and this is external. First of all, when it is said inner, it is dividing line is the body we start with. But Shastra at the same time says it is innermost and it is outside also. That means it is neither inner nor outside. Since it is both, that inner alone, it is not. So the word inner, please understand and note this carefully. Whenever in Shastra word inner is used for Atma, when we say Antaratma, it is in terms of subtlety. It is in terms of pervasiveness. It is in terms of Satta Spurti Pradata of all. So, Antike, it is the innermost, is in the sense of Sukshmata, subtle. And with reference to, or you can say inner means with in the sense of the very subject. Antaratma means not available for objectification. That is inner self. Okay? When we say, because there are, when we talk of Panchakoshas, there are Pancha Atmas as though. Fivefold sense of self is there with us. You take yourself, the self is taken as body, the self is taken as prana, the self is taken as sense organs, self is taken as mind, and the self is also taken as buddhi and ignorance. With reference to all these five, quote unquote, the real self, this self is a superimposed self. The body self, prana self, sense organ self, it is adhyasika self. It is aviveka self, the self which is born out of lack of discrimination between Atma and Anatma. Drugdrishya viveka abhavajanya Atma. When you don't have a clarity about the division of the seer and seen, the subject and object, these five selves are there. And the ultimate self, or there's a real self, or you can say the innermost self, is something that which is not available for objectification. When you say this pancha self or external self, that means you can objectify. The self which is taken as body is available to be objectification, available for objectification. The self which is taken as mind, that is also available for objectification. You say, I am angry or I am stressed, but then the question comes, how do you know you are stressed? I know I am angry. How do you know you are angry? Because anger is known. I am happy. The happy state of the mind is known to you. Unhappy is known. I am not in mood. That moodless state is known to you. This is all because of adhyasa. We have seen earlier, yushmad asmad pratyaya adhyasa. So, innermost self means the very subject, that which objectifies everything else. Okay? So, antaraha, antaratma, that means further objectification is not possible. You can objectify the body, then go further, subtler, objectify sense organs, go further, subtler, you can objectify your emotions, go further, subtler, you can objectify your cognitions and your knowledge and memory, go further, you can objectify your ignorance as well. That which is not available for any objectification, the subtlest, is called antaratma. Okay? Tadu antike, when the Shruti says the self is antara. Antara means what? Tadu sarvasya bahyataha. What does it mean, antara? Antara means that which is not available for any kind of objectification. That which is the subtlemost. And see, this, and when you study Vedanta, you should be clear about the meanings of the words. The whole teaching is there to remove the confusion. There is a lot of confusion, okay? There is a confusion in confusion, okay? That confusion is there. And we should know the meaning, otherwise we add to confusion, which is already there. So then you create a confused person out of confusions. It becomes plural. Then there are spiritual confusions. Because you take it something differently. So antaratma, please understand, is that which is this subject. That which cannot be objectified. That is why the word is used as antaratma. Tadu antike. It is innermost. Innermost means what? It is the subject. It is the illuminator. No? Object shines to you. You can see this pen. This is a golden color pen. Because it shines, it reveals to you, because your eyes shine. Eyes shine because the pranas shine. Pranas shine because there is a mind behind which is there. There is a buddhi behind, and everything ultimately behind is Atma. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. That ultimate illuminator, because of which all the senses, mind, etc., can illumine the objects, that is called antara. Okay, this is the right meaning. The sarvasya spurti pradata, sarvasya chitti pradata, sarvasya satta pradata, because of which they are what they are. That is called consciousness. That is antara. Tadu antike sarvasya, it is the innermost. These are the limitations of the language. Innermost. There is no inner as such. You are talking with reference to our ignorance-born selves. Dehatma, pranatma, indriyatma. For you to say innermost. And at the same time, tadu sarvasyasya bahyataha. It is outside everything. What does it mean it is outside everything? If it is inside, how can it be outside? And when it is outside everything, how can it be inside? What does it mean? the so-called everything cannot affect it. Outside everything is in a sense of asangata, unconnected, unattached. When you say it is beyond everything, it is like saying the water is inside all the waves and it is outside. Means even if the wave is destroyed, the water doesn't get destroyed. That's all the meaning. It is unaffected, untainted by the state of that vastu with reference to which it is called inside. It is inside as well as outside. It is all pervasive as well as it is beyond. Be it when it is said inside and beyond, outside, it means it is the very substratum of everything. It is the adhishthanam of everything. When Purushottam we chant, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva Atyatishtat Dashangulam. It is beyond by 10 fingers. Beyond means unaffected. Means everything else is superimposed on Atma. Now, the teacher, having said this, continues the teaching and tells the phalam, what you get out of this teaching. What is the result of this knowledge is being revealed in the fifth mantra. Look at, sixth one. Just look at the sixth mantra. What is moksha that is being taught here? Yastu sarvani bhutani, yastu sarvani bhutani, atmannevanu pashyati, atmannevanu pashyati, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, tato na vijugupsate, tato na vijugupsate, yastu sarvani bhutani, atmannevanu pashyati, yastu sarvani bhutani, atmannevanu pashyati, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, tato na vijugupsate, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, tato na vijugupsate. Now, yastu. I'll break the words for you. Yaha tu sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupashyati. Sarvabhuteshu cha atmanam anupashyati. Saha tataha na vijugupsate. Yastu. In Sanskrit, when the tu kara is used, often it is in the sense of on the other hand, in opposition to, when something else is talked about, which is just opposite to what was talked about earlier, to that it is said here. Yastu. In the third mantra, the Asuri Sampat person was taught. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vrta, it was said so. Now in the first mantra, the wise person, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, was told what one should do, or what is the wisdom. And in the second mantra, seeker was told. Now in this mantra, this fifth mantra, he is talking about an enlightened person. What Arjuna had asked in the second chapter about Sthita Prajna, Sita pragnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Sitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. What are the characteristics of the wise person? So this is the characteristic. He says sarvani bhutani. Okay. All beings. Bhuta means sentient and insentient both. Bhu bhavati, that which is, all that exists, all that is, sentient or insentient, he sees them. How does he see that? Pashyati, anupashyati. I'll explain the word anupashyati. Atmani eva. He sees all of them in Atma, in the self. He sees the whole creation in the self. Okay? And that seeing is anupashyati, after something, after learning from a teacher, after studying the Shastra, or you can say after manana, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. The phalam is this. That's fine. He sees the whole creation in oneself. But the second line, sarva bhuteshu cha atman, and sees the self in all beings. Everything is in the self, and self is in all beings. Saha, that person, therefore, tataha, or thereafter, or therefore, na vijugupsate. Now the word jugupsa is means strong feeling of hatred, strong feeling of disgust, strong feeling of abhorrence, strong disapproval of something, some behavior, some person, some object, anything. Strong non-acceptance. These are the seeds for jealousy also. This is the seed for anger also. This is the seed, not seed, it is the effect of strong desire. When you have a strong liking for something, then only you will have a strong dislike for something opposite. I like something because the world is full of opposites. I just like white. Then that implies that there will be dislike for something non-white. Not necessarily black, but something will not be liked. And when there is a strong feeling of hate or dislike, that means there is a strong karma. So jugupsa implies karma, krodha, mada, moha, everything. Jealousy also. What is jealousy? That is non-acceptance on your part of certain things or certain qualities or certain possessions in a given person. X person is jealous of Y. And if you ask him, they don't say I'm jealous, but they will have a very foul mouth all the time for about that person, talking ill. Yeah, he has a car. He got a car, but I don't know how he got it. He cheated that other person. He has a Mercedes, but it's a wrong means. But he is not liar, etc. There are millions of Mercedes in the world. You don't object those Mercedes. But this one Mercedes, I can't accept. Non-acceptance. Somebody having something, dislike. That is jugupsa. And that causes insecurity. Natato vijugupsate. Means that person becomes free from shadripu, what we call it, kama, krodha, moha, mada, moha, matsarya, etc. Or you can say that person is free from any kind of sense of insecurity. It's a basic human problem. insecure. You know, that's a fundamental problem. I feel insecure. Who is free from insecurity? Sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati. He sees all bhutas in the self alone. There is nothing that what is, nothing is out of the self. And he sees the self in all bhutas. Sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam pashyati. He sees the self in all beings. Now look at this. Self means what? What is the teacher is talking about? Teacher is talking about I, the asmat pratyaya. When you say I, what you refer as I, that is whole creation is being in that I. Sarvani Bhuta. And I alone, Atmani eva. You know, so see the mantra. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati. They have being in yours, you alone, or pashyati eva, he sees this only. How? What is our asmat pratyaya now? When I say I, what do I mean by I? Oh, I am so and so. Name, sex, age, position, relation, something, some identity. Technically, I am pramata, an individual. Pramata. Now, this pramata, you know, there are many pramatas. There are so many individuals. Anybody you say you is individual. Anything that you say this is an individual. Any sentient being is individual. Even a bug is an individual. Swamiji would say. Mosquito also is a pramata. Mosquito pramata. It knows where to bite. The mosquito will never sit on your nail to suck the blood. Never. It knows that this is not the place I can pierce my needle, you know. And it also knows never to sit here. When you're talking, it doesn't come here. It comes in the elbow behind. So by the time you lift and see, it is already gone. And it knows when to go. It is so engrossed in sucking the blood. But somehow by the time your hand reaches, the fellow is off. You know, this mosquito. You keep trying to get it, but it doesn't come to you. You know, it never comes to you. This baby mosquito was always taken by mother with itself to move out and suck the blood. But baby became teenage, mosquito teenage, okay? Not our teenage. And wanted independence from mom. That's a teenage problem. I want to be independent. I can go alone, mom, I don't need you. And poor mom, as usual, after all, it was Indian mosquito. And Indian moms are over-caring, sometimes controllingly caring. So that Indian mom said, no, baby, you can't go. No, baby, you can't go. And finally, she had to give in one day. And she gave in. She was holding her heart in her mouth, poor lady. Because the baby will come back live or not. She was doing japa and waiting for the baby. And after some time, the baby came back. Mom said, how was it? Typical teenage as a sparring partner in mom. Mom, you don't value me. You don't respect me. You don't know who am I, etc., etc. He told the baby mosquito said to mom. The mom said, "It's okay, honey, but why you are so angry, mad at me? You don't value me and you kept on doubting my capacities all the time and never let me go out. I have been on a successful solo flight. It was overtly successful." Mom said, "What happened?" He says, "Wherever I left, they always clapped. They always gave clap. They always made sound, appreciating my skills." Mother said, "Idiot, you just were saved for a moment. They were not appreciating you, they were killing you." But that's how the teenage is. Anyway, mosquito is also a pramata. It knows if you have a long hair, matted hair, it will never try on the head to suck the blood. It may rest for some time in that bushes, in modern bushes. But then it will not try to suck the blood. That means everyone knows oneself as pramata, subject. And there are infinite subjects. Human being, each human is different. Each mosquito pramata is different from another mosquito pramata. And all mosquito pramatas are different from all human pramatas. Crow pramatas and tiger pramatas and zebra pramatas and cat pramatas and dog pramatas and all kinds of pramatas. The point is, the differences in pramata is only upadita from the standpoint of upadhi. Swarupatah. What is the real nature of pramata? Swarupatah, the pramata is non-dual. The swarupa of all the pramata is one. The 13th chapter verse. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidhiyate. This body, Bhagavan says, is called kshetram. And one who knows, etadyo veti, one who knows this is called kshetragna. And then, so I am kshetragna, which is same meaning of the pramata and kshetragna, they are synonyms. I am kshetragna, there are so many kshetragnas. Bhagavan says, kshetragnam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetre shubha. That there is a difference in these pramatas, that there is a difference in these kshetragnas is very vivid. And if it were real, you don't need to study Vedanta. Please understand. You don't need to study Vedanta if pramatas were different from each other. The core of the pramata is something else. If pramata itself is a core person, then you better study psychology. Psychology addresses that pramata, which is basically an emotive person. Okay? You see, that pramata is basically emotional person. The emotive I is developed right from childhood before the cognitive I comes into being. The cognition starts, the buddhi opens up after 2. That is called terrible 2. When the individuality is there, their inferential capacity, abstraction capacity, inquiry starts. Baby starts questioning, baby starts inferring, all that after 2 years. But then emotive person is developed before that. And this emotive person is very powerful. Though cognitive is also develops, it develops in course of time. But then the emotive person as though overrides, as though hijacks the emotions, as though hijacks your capacity to think objectively. It emotive person means the subjective person. And that subjective person is pramata as of now. The subjective I is pramata. And in all our interactions with the world, you have enough cognitions. A grown-up person has cognition. How to look at the world, how to evaluate the situation, how to respond to the situation. But that emotive don't let you respond true to your cognitions. And as I said, if the real nature of the pramata is what it appears to be, you don't need to study Vedanta. You study little psychology and learn to handle your emotions, learn to handle your unconscious, learn to handle your childhood built up. And then you are what you are. And this emotive person is formed by the parents, by culture, by religion, by society, by peers, etc. They have overbearing. And that overbearing emotive overbears the cognitive person. In another word, the fellow loses objectivity. And when their emotions are not involved, the fellow is very objective. When it comes to advising somebody, he or she talks so objectively as though the new Buddha Avtara is there in front of you. He is so clear. This should be done this way, not this way, etc., etc. Because basically he or she is, as of for others, is purely cognitive person. But when it comes to himself, his near and dear ones, there is no cognitive person left. It's emotive person. Emotive pramata, that is the existing pramata, takes charge of the whole thing. You have to, that core person should be cognitive. You have freedom to experience the emotions, nothing wrong in emotions. And you cannot stop yourself from experiencing because that's how the mind is. That's how the body is. You cannot stop the body from suffering, feeling heat and cold. It is how it is. Shita Ushna Samay Krutva. It is Samatvam doesn't mean you don't feel hot and don't feel cold. You stone your body. No. Similarly, you don't need to stone your mind. You feel the emotions. It's okay. Nothing wrong in it feeling. But then there is a paradigm shift in it. Feel the emotion, but evaluate your life experiences. Evaluate your responses from the cognitive standpoint. You respond objectively. You don't let your emotions overpower your cognitions. And that is paradigm shift. An ultimate paradigm shift is that core person, the essence of pramata, the essence of kshetrajna is pure consciousness, that is I, which is non-dual, which has no attributes to create the difference, to create any kind of limitations. That is you, And I, listen this, I, the consciousness, is independent of emotions. I am independent of body. I am independent of all my cognitions and knowledge. And they all depend upon me. Okay? This is a cognitive paradigm shift of Vedanta. I am Chidananda. who is ultimately independent of it. They all shine in my light. They all exist in my existence. And that Pramata is Chaitanya, the core of the core person, who is either emotive in most of the cases or a cognitive, means objective. And in other words, I can say, this I had explained in detail in Tattva Bodha. Objective person means virakta. Understand? Vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean long face. Vairagya. Doesn't mean you remain tight. And that fellow keeps others also tight. They are all afraid what to tell, what not to tell to this fellow. That's not Vairagya. It's okay, it may be, but Vairagya is a relaxed person. You are objective. You can see the things as it is. You don't mind it. Objectivity. So, core person is objective, and at the same time he or she knows I am independent of all these pramatas. That is consciousness. I am. And that Chaitanyam is self-existent, self-revealing. It is Sadatma, and it is there, is, and therefore it is Chidatma. Aham Satchit Aham Asmi, and therefore Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmanneva Upashyati. Whatever is in Atma. Means what? That so-called whatever is mithya, is not ultimate. Like the water saying, a wave saying, all the waves are in me and I am in all the waves. And it says all the waves are in me, that I is cognitive I, H2O. Even while the wave is saying this, there is one wave behind it which is pushing this wave to the shore. And there is front wave which is not letting it go. That upaditaha limitations continue. All waves are in me and I am in all the waves. That means what? The so-called waves is mithya. What is mithya? It is only name and form. What is mithya? That which appears, which is not true to what it appears to be. What is mithya? That which is because of something is. Mithya means whose existence is not its own. It is a borrowed existence. Whose light is not its own. It is a borrowed light. Sentiency is borrowed. Existence is borrowed. All the waves exist because of H2O. Therefore, waves are mithya. Whose sentiency, capacity to move around is again borrowed. You see, now look at, I'll connect with the previous mantra. Tadejati tannaijati. It moves and at the same time it doesn't move. Anejadekam manaso javiyaha. It doesn't move and it is faster than the mind. All the movements are in it and at the same time doesn't move, meaning thereby all the waves that are moving appear to be moving. It is movement of water only. And water doesn't move at all. It as though assumes some form, otherwise it is different. So, yastu sarvani bhutani atmaneva anupashyati. It is purely cognitive vision. Paradigm shift is cognitive shift. As a consciousness, as Satchidatma, I can say all that is in me. Now this in also should be understood. Translation we may say, all beings in the self. But when you say in, there is a adhara, adheya sambandha. Like even you can say there is a water in the tumbler. So tumbler is adheya, which holds the water. And water is something which is held by tumbler. So when you say in, it may mean that there are two things. Sarva Bhutani Atmani. It is everything in Atma. There is Atma is like a big vessel and everything is put inside it. And then it is carried away all the way. No. Let's understand. What does it mean by in Atma? There are no two things. That which is inside, means that which is contained, and that which is container. Atma becomes container, and all bhutas become contained within Atma. But it is the limitations of the language. All ornaments are in gold. In gold means that all exist because of. All the pots are in clay. That means the pots exist because of the clay. Similarly, all bhutas are in Atma. That means I am Sadatma. And there are sentient bhutas. So I am Chidatma. So Atma is Satchita. So I is not a pramata. The pramatrutvam, the status of being a knower, status of being an individual is incidental. Like for an actor, a status of being a beggar, a status of just being a king is incidental. That is, beggar is not intrinsic to the actor. King is not intrinsic to the actor. It is incidental. So pramatrutvam is incidental. Intrinsically, I is not pramata. I am Satchidatma. And all bhutas are in Satchidatma, meaning thereby anything that exists, anything that shines or is sentient is because of I. I am the very substratum of all existence. I lend existence to everything that is, and I lend sentiency to whatever sentient is. Can you see these two mantras? First line of this mantra 1 and 6, it reveals Jeevishwar identity. What is the first mantra? Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. That anything that is non-separate from Ishvara. Now it is said, anything yastu sarvani bhutani atmannevanu pashyati. Anything that is non-separate from I, Satchidai. It is non-separate from Ishvara, and it is non-separate from I. That means I am Ishvara. From what's a paradigm? I as a Satchit is Ishvara. As Satchidatma, I am Ishvara. And Ishvara is also Satchit Atma, and I am also ultimately Satchidananda. From that point of view, all the beings are in me. Atmaneva anupashyati. That anupashyati word is important. Pashyati anupashyati. Sees after. Not simply seeing. Pashyati means sees. Anupashyati, sees after. After what? It has two meanings. Acharya upadeshat anu. After the teachings of a guru. After the teachings of Upanishads. After Shravana Manana Nididhyasanat anu paschat. After doing Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, and then this person sees. Means after owning up the vision of the Shastra, he says, Anupashyati. And another meaning also is there, Anupashyati. Chakshushaha pashyati. It sees through eyes. And Buddhya anupashyati. This Vedanta is cognitive. To see oneness, you don't have to physically make everything one. You need not. And you cannot. You know, I saw that there are some stories going on that this fellow Mahatma saw everything as one and one and one, and then the world was only one consciousness and he could not see anything else. No. You see the world all right. You see the objects, eyes will show the differences. Please understand. The oneness is to be seen cognitively. Just because you have knowledge, it will not happen that you stop seeing the world as it is. I see everything as Brahman. It's a good excuse to take away something that belongs to others if it is a good thing. I see only Brahman. I don't know which is my car and your car. I see only Brahman, and therefore I took away your car. That doesn't work that way. The other fellow will say, I also see Brahman everywhere, and therefore I am calling police Brahman. For you, the car Brahman taking, I am calling police Brahman. Doesn't work that way. Anupashyati, cognition, recognition. In spite of, that's why I said earlier, non-duality in spite of duality. Duality will continue. Body will have its own limitations. Mind will have its limitations. There is no intrinsic change that is going to take place in your eyes. Okay? Eyes will see the difference in colors and forms and etc. And ears also will see the difference. And mind also will have a difference. You know? Especially mind with a background and judgment will always look at your spouse differently. Hey, she is always like that. He is always like that. That goes on, you know. After 25 years of marriage, they give compliment. You have not changed. You are same as it is. They were celebrating 25th year. She said, tomorrow is our 25th anniversary. What should we do? He says, let us keep silence for half a day at least. शोक सभा मौन रखो यदि शांति रहे. You know, the point is, buddhi will not change unless you work on buddhi. You have to act psychological. Vedanta doesn't change your vision about the world. Your appreciation. Anupashyati. Like I had told you earlier, you see the ornament, but you gain a capacity to see the gold along with ornament. And so far, let me confess, I am Maha Agnani with reference to gold. I cannot make out whether this is Madras jewelry or real jewelry, real gold. Anything that shines is gold for me. I can't anupashya. This is not gold. But some ladies have a sense. They can just make out this is not gold. This is fake. This is just outside thing, not real 100% gold. They can see that. That is called anupashyati. Okay? And ultimate anupashya is goldsmith, Indian goldsmith. Lady may think I have a complete ornament. Goldsmith knows how much copper he has added when he made the shape and sold it to her. Anyway, coming back to this, Acharya Upadeshat, Sravana Manana Nidhasanat, Anupashyati, or cognitively appreciates that I am that consciousness. I am the pure existence which lends existence to everything else. Whatever is, because I is. Wave can say, whatever waves are there, breakers and waves are there, that is because I, H2O, is. So Pramata is not this limited individual with differences. The core of Pramata is not even emotive person, not even cognitive person, it is Satchit, and that he sees. In second line, we will see tomorrow, next week. I have to talk something about some special today. So after Shanti Path, I will say this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Today, for 13th September, is a very auspicious day